Hello friends, welcome to the Faith's Mega Walls player tier list video. The first part of this video will be placing the players in their tier and the second part will be organizing with some explanations. You made it through the first part. Now it's time to organize the players and I'm going to give some explanations. For me the first two is obvious. I'm gonna place myself at the top and my boy Noisy at second, my favorite party to play in and the best party I've played in no matter how many players is a duo party with Noisy. We play very similar and we have multiple times dropped nearly 30 finals as a duo and we have both pulled off incredible performances to carry the other. It sounds very egotistical, but when I think of myself as a Mega Walls player I think of the closest to perfect game sense. The perfect combination of not being too aggressive and not too defensive, and the best longevity. I've been in the GOAT conversation basically since 2017 when I was the first to get all legendary skins. The only thing I don't consider myself the best at is PvP ability. At the top of good players I'm gonna place Danny Lobo Disteria. I have played with Disteria a lot and he is one of those players that are able to pull off performances alone and can get high final games, which gains a lot for me. Danny also has good running ability, so if you play with him you rarely have to help him out when he's in trouble as he can get out of it himself. The only problem Danny has is he is often way too aggressive and doesn't seem like he knows the limit of being too aggressive. When chasing people, especially with Enderman, he tends to chase people too far without the team coming behind and helping out, which too often leads to him getting in trouble. At second place I'm putting Nair. The reason I'm putting Disteria above is basically because I've been generally more impressed by Disteria. Nair is one of the best PvPers, but I can't say I have seen any running ability and I'm more impressed by Disteria's longevity. A lot of people might be mad at this one, but I'm putting Yoa Killer, Aquatic Turtle and Melee Please at the rest of the spots. They don't play anymore, but I couldn't live with myself if I made a tier list and placed them further down or ignored them. I'm placing Yoa at the top of them because I probably had the most experience with him. I'd say Yoa and Aqua are definitely better than Melee, but that doesn't mean he is bad. The gap between Yoa and Aqua is basically nothing. The reason they are this high are because of how they performed in their games at their prime. Yoa and Aqua along with Melee uploaded some of the most entertaining videos of any Mega Walls YouTubers ever, and their skills in-game were also insane. My favorite party except for me and Noisy as a duo is me, Yoa, Noisy plus another, the most enjoyable party I've had and the most skillful. Yoa is clearly the best skeleton ever and Aqua is so clearly the best renegade ever, with probably the biggest skill gap of any class. I've tried to make this tier list with a noticeable skill gap between the tiers and I think I've done that. Mental is placed where he is basically from just watching his videos. He's a very technical player, but still I would say there definitely is a noticeable skill gap between Mental and the higher tier. Definitely in terms of longevity, Disteria and Nair are a lot better. I can't remember anyone calling Mental a very good player a year ago. It's very hard to rank the following players. I ranked Nurkline the highest mostly from longevity combined with skill. I played with him a tiny bit and he's a good player. One of the highest stat accounts on Mega Walls, and I have to give that credit. Trushi is placed where he is because he is a very good pirate, possibly the best. I don't have much experience with him, but he has a reputation for being good. Check Your Pants is placed high because he has been good for a while. Me and him were dominating as Double Cow back in the day and in other class combinations. A lot of good gameplay and clutches. Can easily see him higher if not for McDonald's Wi-Fi. I can imagine a lot of EU players being placed higher if not for the ping difference. Some of these NA players might go further down if the ping was swapped. They might hate on this because they don't feel our ping, but the difference is insane. Balpu is a good team-fighting player and knows which fights are winnable. I don't know how to explain it properly, but I feel like him as a player feels stiff. What I'm trying to say is he's good when everything is straight in front of him. Balpu is also not a good runner. Also, one of the rarest occurrences in Mega Walls history is a Balpu click sound. Kirobiro is basically ranked the same as Balpu as they play together and look equal to me. Dasport very rarely plays, but from 2016 to 2020 she was a top player and a very good team player. There's not much explanation for the rest of the tier. COFC used to be a good player. Haven't seen much of Ender Dragon until recently, so in current form he might be higher. Extrino I have never seen in game, but his videos have good performances. Big Papa is a good PvPer and makes good gifs. Haven't seen much of him in terms of game sense, but his videos are good. Vampirical is a decent player. I used to play with him and a lot of the time he would just split with the team and die and blame everyone else. Grista is a decent player, a bit mentally unstable, trash talks the first person he sees. Dies pre-deathmatch sometimes. Nexo Wolf is a good PvPer, no wall run ability, low running ability. Rage quits a lot. Very short-tempered. But overall a good teammate. Cleansing Flames is a very good Phoenix. I can easily see him far up if not for the ping. Vilish is a decent player, a bit too much known for cheating to be placed higher up. Overall I don't see him as a threat without a party. Lemonade is decent, but again, even with his usual party he isn't a threat. When I first got back into the game this year I clutched a 2v16 against him. Zakaru is basically COFC but a bit worse. Had periods of cheating very hard, but a decent player. Shauk might be better with better ping. Very rarely played against him due to time zone, but the two games I recall were not challenging games. Oreo Bits is a decent player. Wasn't even considered a decent player until recently. Can recall one game against it and it died pre-deathmatch. Jorge Sonu is a decent player. Not the best PvPer or the best game sense, but he has decent running ability and tends to survive a lot in games. X Invisibility is a decent player. Looking back at my own videos, it's insane how many of them he gets killed in. Considered a threat in a party. Stunno is decent. Wisdom would be placed a lot higher if the video was made 1 or 2 years ago, but the fact that he barely played recently sadly drags him down a lot. I used to have a lot of good games with him. Tiny Rex is a version of Lemonade, just worse. Needs a 4-man party to be considered a threat. Grichman wasn't even considered a player until he played 1000 games in 2 months. A decent PvPer but not good game sense. Alex Toru is one of those players who aren't a threat at all without a functioning party. Same goes for Porky and Danesto, who is barely a threat even with a party. 2PD Men is an okay player. Go sub to him so he can get 1000 subs. Muak, also known as a terrorist, makes the best TNT traps. If the first trap is already used, you always need to expect the second and a third one. Tommy Gunn plays with Jonush and Ntano, so he is automatically in the lowest tier. Although he is better than them. VTiki is another straight horrible player with no game sense. Stamina is player with no game sense. Sorry the CO12, but you aren't a good player. Maybe in the tier above with a better PC smiley face.
Netanel and Janusz go together. No game sense at all. Never in my life have I ever experienced a worse player than General Puda. The IQ of this guy must be the same as the temperature in his room. He doesn't function at all without a tunnel to run to. Has worse game sense than Netanel and Janusz. Thanks for watching my tier list. You can make your own version with the link below, and you can post it in my Discord for example.